Hello YouTube, it is me, Raina, and I am back. So if you had not heard, it's being heavily rumored, even though it was reported by Bloomberg, which is a very credible source, that HBO Max is going to basically do a live action, the series was already live action, a reboot of the Harry Potter series. Yes, the Harry Potter series based on the 7 books. Remember when they were made as movies, years ago, and, they're rebooting that to not a prequel, not a sequel. It's going to be based on the exact same 7 books that were released as movies back in the 2000s. Let that sink in for a moment. This is just in development. There are no creatives attached to it yet. Of course, J.K. Rowling is involved. It's her property. But let that sink in for a moment. Okay, now we're back. This is a very stupid idea. And you might be saying, but Raina, what about Percy Jackson? They had movies too. And the difference between Percy Jackson and Harry Potter is that Percy Jackson had 2 movies, not only failed at the box office, but was critically panned by critics and fans. Fans hated those movies, and even the author of those books did not like what they did with those movies. So now they are doing a more faithful adaptation on television on Disney Plus, which they've already finished, and I can't wait for it. That, to me, is more of a reason to do a reboot of Percy Jackson, because those 2 movies are not successful financially and critically. Harry Potter, on the other hand, was and kind of still is, a culture zeitgeist, okay? That was successful. The movies and books, obviously, were successful critic-wise and audience-wise and box office-wise. And they made billions of dollars. It redefined the industry in the 2000s, okay? With mostly unknown actors playing the lead characters, especially the younger children characters who we grew up with, when they were playing these characters, okay? So there's that also with this. And this also proves that in this universe, in the Wizarding World, or whatever they want to coin it this week, is that Harry Potter's story, just that character story, the 7 books from Sorcerer's Stone or Philosopher's Stone to Deathly Hallows, is the only story that is interesting, that is worth telling in this universe. And honestly, just pushing J.K. Rowling's stuff aside for the moment, that I will bring that back because that's important. That's fine. If that's the only story you can tell in this universe, okay, that's fine. We told the story, we read the books, we saw the movies. That is fine. It should just stay there, whatever, curate it, do whatever. That is fine. But to redo a whole reboot and tell the exact same story seems really redundant, considering we already seen these on the big screen with big budgets, with sets and all this stuff, with unknown, like I said at the time, unknown actors, and even the greats of the British acting world in these movies. We've seen that. And now I'm going to bring J.K. Rowling back in. Another thing that this got against it is obviously J.K. Rowling's political stance on trans people and non-binary people, and her basically saddling herself up with these very transphobic hate groups in the UK and going on these Twitter rants on the daily, because she has to remind us every single day on Twitter that she hates trans people and doesn't believe in all this other stuff. There's all that angle too, that she is very involved, very, partnering up, meeting with, having brunches with, talking with, co-signing, promoting this hate movement that's going on in the UK. It's going on worldwide, but it's really gaining ground in a very horrifying way in the UK. And she is a big part of it. She is their biggest mouthpiece. And it's frightening. And it's also probably the reason why the prequels, the Fantastic Beasts series, did not work. Now, that did not work because she was trying to cram too many stories into those movies, whereas if you just focused on the main character of Newt, it probably would have been fine for maybe one movie or three, and that's it. But Warner Brothers wants this franchise to work so bad, they're willing to retread old ground and tell the story yet again. At least with Lord of the Rings, no matter how you think of The Hobbit and Rings of Power, those are about different characters in the universe. We're not retreading Frodo and them on their journey. Those movies are great. They did their thing. Those are different stories. Even the Star Trek shows, they do pick out similar characters, but they're telling different stories and have been for decades. With this makes no sense considering Harry Potter was already successful in book form and movie form. What you had back then was that the movies were coming out at the same time that the books were coming out. We did not know how this series was going to end until the movie Order of the Phoenix came out. That was a very, really, and talking about back in the time, a really great time in the Harry Potter fandom because we were watching these characters grow up with us, the actors grow up with us, and they were reading the books at the same time, and we did not know how they were going to end until the movie Order of the Phoenix came out, and then we had to wait for Deathly Hallows to see how they bring it to fruition. And now everything that is involved with Harry Potter is tarnished as long as J.K. Rowling is involved in it. And not just J.K. Rowling's political views when it comes to trans people, just a lot of the views within the Harry Potter world and the fiction and the books even are heavily problematic, have been picked over for the last couple of years. This is just going to magnify that to the nth degree. And, like I said, this is just being developed. There's no showrunner announced yet. Like I said, Bloomberg did announce it, and, they're saying that Warner Brothers Discovery is going to have a big kind of a upfront, I guess, next Wednesday, either this Wednesday coming up or next week Wednesday. I don't know. I'll report back just in case, so you can have an update if, any more information comes out. But my feelings on this is so redundant. Once again, it shows why this story is the only relevant story, and this show should not be made because it gives J.K. Rowling yet again a big magnifier to her hate movement and her being involved in it, and her infusing that probably in the story, or infusing that even on the greater level is giving her way more money, way more notoriety than she needs because of her hate against a group of people who just want to be who they are. And it's very disheartening, and I knew this was going to happen. I'm not stupid. I understand money, and I understand business. I understand that. Trust me, I'm not stupid. I know we live in a capitalist society, but this is enough. We have to say enough. This is enough. No one is excited for this. I, for one, am not. And you can tell by my past videos that I was one of the biggest Harry Potter fans. You can go back. Trust me, I was there when the books came out, when the movies came out, all that stuff. But now, in recent years, with J.K. Rowling and her rhetoric, no more of this stuff. I said this in my previous video about Harry Potter. This franchise should end. It should end because it's been tainted. It's been washed down. It's over. It is over. And that's all I have to say about this, and bye.